Frank, thanks for being with us today. What drove your vision to be first quartile in customer operations?
I mean, when you look at trying to drive into first quartile and consistently perform in first quartile, you have to really look at three things: people, process, and technology. So we have benchmarked across all those dimensions to try and understand where we need to focus in order to drive our performance in those areas to achieve first quartile. And it's important to note that we aren't looking to do it just for PECO. We're looking to bring all three of the operating companies that we currently have, PECO, BG&E, and ComEd, into first quartile across all those dimensions.
What do you see as the challenges in being a top performing call center?
From a call center standpoint, we're really looking at doing three things. We're trying to drive improved process to make our agents more productive so they can handle more phone calls and handle more phone calls efficiently and effectively, which means resolving calls the first time. But in addition to that, we're also implementing a series of technology projects to allow customers to self-serve should they choose to do that. So the real pathway is to drive as many calls to self-serve as you can. Those customers that want to be served personally and talk to an agent, make those agents as effective and efficient as possible.
How is the multi-channel customer impacting how you think about top performance?
That really is, in our perspective, that is having the channels available that customers want to use and making the multiple channels seamless. So if a customer starts in one channel but needs to be directed to another, that the information that the customer's already given us isn't lost, so it becomes a seamless experience for the customer. That is really a challenge as we work through multiple systems and try and meet multiple customer expectations.
How's the world changing for customer service reps?
The expectations that are being put on the CSR are growing and growing. When they were taking all types of calls, they would get a mix of what we would call the easy calls and the more complex calls. Now they tend to be challenged with just the more complex calls. So that means they not only need to understand our billing systems, what our rates are, but they also need to understand what's going on in the marketplace, because it's a much more complex marketplace than it was even 5 years ago, with multiple suppliers that customers have options for, and they have to understand all of that and be able to very quickly and concisely dissolve that into an understandable explanation and resolution for the customer.
Tell us about your billing and payment initiatives.
We are currently performing quite well on the billing and payment side. Getting our bills out, we've got a very low number of delayed bills, and that really is across all three of our operating companies. But we do need to improve the payment options. One of the feedback we get in our customer sat surveys is that we don't have enough payment options for customers. So that's something that we're working on, and we have an initiative across all three utilities to improve the number of payment options that we have and make it easier for customers to utilize those payment options.
Speak to customer engagement.
All three operating companies, and I'll speak to PECO specifically, are implementing AMI projects. So right now, the first quartile mark that we judge against is a 99.78% meter reading percentage. And we are not quite there, but by 2015, with the advent of our AMI systems being fully installed and having the vast majority of the meters deployed, we expect to be at first quartile in 2015. besides providing a very high meter reading accuracy rate, it allows us to do a number of things with customers, starting with outage notification, identification, being able to get trucks rolled faster, eliminating truck rolls that don't need to be made because we understand what the issues are. We've implemented remote connect disconnect, so we don't have to roll a truck to connect or disconnect a meter once the AMI system is fully deployed. And it allows the collection of interval data, so customers through our website can actually look and see on a daily basis how they're consuming energy. And that is really beneficial, especially after the winter that we had this year, in helping customers understand why their bills have changed, and from the customer perspective, why their bills intended to increase rather than stay the same or decrease.
What drives PECO?
Well, we are actually absolutely moving to wanting to engage the customer, but wanting to engage the customer in the way they want to be engaged. Not all customers think about their electric bill 12 hours a day as we tend to do in our workday. So one of the things that we are looking at is putting in a preference, we call a preference center. Very common across a number of industries. But that will allow customers to tell us how do they want to be communicated with across the different dimensions of their service experience. So if they want to be, for example, on a if their usage is high, they may want to receive an email to tell them that their usage is high this month. But if they have an outage, they may want to receive an email and a text. That preference center allows us to do that, and that's something that we are exploring and hoping to implement over the course of the next 12 to 18 months.
You have a passion for all things customer. Where does that come from?
Well, we want to be the best. And you know, you can quote Vince Lombardi on this one, where Vince Lombardi once said that, let's see, what did he say? He said, we're going to chase perfection and catch excellence. And that's really what we're trying to do.